And so the test consists of what, trigonometry or something like that, or
There is some math, but speaking honestly,
okay.
I'm be honest.
Mm.
I hardly studied for that test.
All right, guys, this is Kelly from Hills Deals and Wheels Mobile Home Investing Course, and I have Mrs. Jamie Jackson. Okay. Thank you, Jamie, for being on here. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you, Kelly?
All right, all right. So, Jamie, I forgot what course we took. We had
Mm,
taken the same course, but I forgot which course that was, but that's neither here nor there.
hmm
Introduce yourself to everybody.
Okay. My name is Jamie Jackson. Right now, I am a licensed loan officer and I work for Nexa Mortgage. I've also been investing in mobile homes for about almost 3 years now. So I started that back in 2020, like the end of the year. And I transitioned really into doing the mortgage loan origination thing about 6 months or so ago.
Okay. Okay. And so why mobile homes? Were you ever into single family homes?
A bit. I have a condo that I'm attempting to rent now. I had another condo that I recently sold. So I did dabble and I tried to dabble a little bit with traditional real estate, but for me, it was kind of a large barrier to entry just in terms of how much it costs to, acquire properties, et cetera. And that was a bit much for me. I'm kind of risk averse. So when I kind of stumbled on to mobile homes, I was like, okay, this is a better fit because I wouldn't have to put myself out there, in terms of like financial risk as much with the mobile home stuff. So
Okay. All right. And are you licensed to buy and sell mobile homes, or are you a
mhm,
licensed? Oh, you are licensed in
mhm.
that.
Yeah, in Michigan. Yeah.
Wow, you've been killing this school, haven't you?
I'm trying. It ain't been easy,
All right,
but
all right.
I'm trying.
So explain the licensing process in Michigan, because here in
Mhm.
Texas it's open book. At the time we did it
Mhm.
in person. How
Mhm.
how did that work in Michigan?
So really in Michigan, it's really just a matter of filling out an application, paying the fee, which is about, I think, 400, at least it was when I did it. You have to have a bond, a surety bond, which is, I think, about 100. There is no test. There's nothing like that really. So it's just the application, the bond. I think they probably may do a background check, so that's something you pay for. But altogether, I think it's no more than like $500 for you to get licensed, as long as you check all those boxes. But no tests, nothing like that.
Okay, all right. And what made you decide to go ahead and get the license versus, doing what everybody else do?
For me, like I need to feel confident when I sit down in front of somebody and I say, trust me to sell your home. And for me to feel confident, I needed to be able to say, by the way, I am a licensed mobile home broker, agent, etc. I needed that really to feel comfortable and kind of selling myself and selling my services. So that for me, that was the biggest reason. I pretty much got that from maybe a month in or so. I just knew it was going to be important for me to get that right off the bat.
Right. And,
And
and
it
did,
has helped.
yeah, did you notice that the park manager, were you ever dealing with parks, or you were on land all the time?
No, I deal with parks as well. To
Okay.
be honest, in my experience, well, I was gonna say it didn't matter, but it did, because in certain respects, especially in terms of trying to make a deal with the park or trying not to get them to kill a deal, if I'm able to come in and say, I'm licensed, I can show you my license, I'm a Michigan mobile home retailer. For them, yeah, it actually does make a difference.
Right. Yeah, I noticed the same thing. Even one manager was like, "Well, why didn't you just tell me you were licensed?" I'm like, "Okay, what difference does it make?" You know, I'm like, "You
Mhm,
tripping? What difference does it make?" So that
mhm.
that was crazy. So you just do business in Michigan and nowhere else, or do you do business elsewhere?
So when it comes to the mobile home investing, I definitely largely in Michigan, but I have done a few Ohio deals. So that was pretty much long distance wholesaling sort of deals. I have a couple of investors that I've worked with in the past that, invest in Ohio, Indiana, et cetera. So I've done some Ohio deals. But that's pretty much it. Michigan and Ohio have been
Mhm.
the most. And then when it comes to the mortgages, that's all Michigan. Oh.
Okay. And so when you did these JV deals, did you ever see the mobile home or somebody else had the home there and you were responsible for getting the buyer or how did that go?
So for the ones in Ohio,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
yeah, so these were leads that I got in like directly to me from sellers in Ohio. 9 times out of 10, at least the ones that I did, they were all homes on private land. So the owners were really just looking to get the home moved, generally either for nothing, they weren't trying to get anything for it, or for very little. Because I already had, investors that I work with that invest in Ohio, it was generally like a quick, easy thing. If they weren't able to send me good pictures, which sometimes I get pictures, but they're not good pictures, then I typically will try to do something like a Craigslist posting. That's worked pretty well, where I just kind of farm out, hey, can somebody go down to a site and take pictures of a home? Good pictures of a home. So I've done that to get like really good pictures of the inside, the outside, underneath, and those are the pictures that I would share with my investor, and then they would just make the deal themselves. With the understanding with the investor and the seller that I am the middleman. I'm getting paid a finder's fee, but ultimately the deal is going to be between both of you guys.
Right. And so were you ever worried about them cutting you out the deal or that was never
It's that's always in the back of my head, but um, the deals that have gone successfully for me are the deals where I'm pretty straightforward and just say, now, how much do you want or need from this deal? Because my intention is to connect you with somebody who's going to be paying me a finder's fee. Um, and the folks that I've worked with, they haven't really cared what that fee was, as long as they, I think, understood that, yes, I'm getting paid for this deal. And if you need something out of it, tell me what that is. Or if you want something out of it, tell me exactly what that is. I'll make sure that gets wrapped into the deal when the person comes and cuts you that check. But just know that I'm getting a finder's fee, but they're going to be paying that to me. And the people that I deal with on the investor side, I'm not going to send you somewhere if I don't trust that you're going to, give me my money. So yeah, on that end, that it hasn't been an issue with the deals that I closed there.
and since you've been in the mobile home business, the different strategies that you have, dealt with, what would be your favorite strategy? Would it be wholesaling or buying and holding? What would you say your favorite strategy is and why?
Um, On the side of wholesaling, I like because I can get a good amount of profit and not have to expend a lot, in terms of costs. So on that end, I like it. But then in the end of like brokering, which I've done a good amount, so acting basically as agent, I like that maybe because it's kind of I've put it together in a way that it's kind of structured for me. So I think maybe on one end I kind of like that because it's structured. I get folks in, this is our flat fee, this is what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to list it, and it just kind of goes pretty smoothly, or it has been for me for the most part. So I would say either wholesaling or brokering, but for different reasons.
Okay. But it
Yeah.
seems like with wholesaling, well, I guess it would depend.
Mhm.
Wholesaling, I was about to say you get a bigger dollar amount, but it would just depend upon what you agreed upon
It
with the
depends
broker deal.
with right, right, right,
Okay.
right. Yep,
Okay.
pretty
All right.
much.
Okay. So now we're about to get in your business now. What has it been the biggest return on your investment, wholesaling a mobile home? Well, I mean, just say we shouldn't say the biggest return on your investment because you didn't put the
Put
money in.
something in. Right,
But
right, right.
what dollar amount did you get for
The
wholesaling the deal?
the biggest one that I've gotten. I would say I think the biggest is maybe 15, 12 or 15. And for me it was not what I would have wanted per se. Um because I would have wanted more, but I think the biggest probably was somewhere between 12 and 15.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And why would you want more? Because
Well, because my intention, so like what I had been doing, and like I said, I've kind of pulled back from it, but what I had been doing, what I had set up for myself when I went into investing is like, I gotta get this amount off of every deal. And that's kind of how I went into it. And so when I didn't hit those numbers, it would be like, oh,
Right.
okay. It's still something. But
Right.
it's not what I
A
wanted.
whole lot of something.
Yeah. I'm also like, I'm pretty hard on myself. So that kind of goes into it too.
Okay. All right. So have you had any challenges since you've been in the mobile home business?
Yes. Yeah. I would say a lot. For me, some of the biggest challenges I would say is dealing with park managers. That's been a pretty significant challenge for me. Um, Also just when I first got into investing, I had a full-time job and the mobile home investing part became a full-time job in and of itself. So the challenge of kind of trying to balance those two things got me really overwhelmed for a significant amount of time, like to the point where I was like breaking down crying because it's like, how can I manage these two things? I got all these Facebook messages or calls or people I got to reach out or follow up with, and then I still got my job, and I have to be in this meeting on my phone here, and then I have to be like messaging people. So that was a lot. That was a whole lot for me, and definitely a big challenge. Um, but yeah, second to that, I would definitely say dealing with park managers, and then just in general too, finding a way to structure my business in such a way that it feels like it's running really smoothly without me having to exert a whole lot of time and energy. And that's still something that I struggle with. But that's been something that's been a challenge too, because I'm the type of person that kind of needs structure. And working W-2, somebody's giving that to you. You doing the entrepreneur thing, you have to put your structure together. You kind of have to set things up. And so getting to that space, that point where I'm like, okay, this is a well-structured, fine-tuned machine, that's still something that I struggle with on the investing side. So
So Jamie, what was your profession before you got into the mobile home business?
I was a program manager for a health insurance company.
Okay. And so you totally quit that now, or you just,
Mm-hmm.
oh,
Yep, I don't do that anymore.
no, what you bad, bad self. All right, so let's get to the nitty gritty because I'm like, man, when I saw your post that you passed the examination to be a mortgage loan originator, I'm like, man, because I tell you what, when I took my license, the exam for my license in Texas,
Mm.
they started talking about that towards the end of the class, and I'm like, man, I had never heard of that. Now, number one, what is the difference between a mortgage loan originator and a mortgage loan officer? Is there a difference or different
Mm,
terminology? Or-
There really is no difference. If we're talking about mortgages, a loan officer has to be licensed, and the technical or proper term for that is a mortgage loan originator. So if we're talking about a mortgage loan officer, they have to be a mortgage loan originator. They have to be licensed in whatever state that they're going to be doing business. So it's pretty synonymous.
Okay. And so, why did you become a mortgage loan originator?
Okay, so
Other than to
at
make me upset. Go
so
ahead.
talking about, like I was saying, with the structure for the mobile home investing, it's just something about loan origination, loans, financing that just connects with me more. There is almost kind of built-in structure there to a certain extent, so I don't necessarily have to expend as much energy from the base up putting together um, this process or system that I have to follow, right? Certain things are just regulated. I know I can't do this, I can do this. So that helps. But in general, I'm starting to kind of pull back from the nitty-gritty and mobile home investing kind of thing and just try to think about what I can do on the periphery and still make money. So if I can do insurance, if I can do loans, if I can do even myself loaning out funds to help other investors, that's kind of where my head is at right now. I'm kind of wanting to pull myself back from the everyday going out looking at homes, talking to sellers, da da da. For me, that's just been very time intensive and energy zapping. And I kind of just want to pull back and do some things on the side that I feel like are probably more connected to how I am as a person. So loan origination for me at this point, this is going to be my main thing
Right.
moving forward.
I'm a registered nurse, and I tell a lot of the nurses aides that I work with, they don't want to go back to school. And I was telling them about mortgage loan originator
Mhm.
because schooling is not like you're
It's
not
not much.
getting a degree, you're getting a certificate. Am I correct?
You're getting a license. I mean, for the most part, the process to become a mortgage loan originator is basically you do about 20 hours of training education. You probably will have to do some extra hours, maybe somewhere between 4 and 10, depending on each state that you're trying to get licensed in. Then you have to take a national exam. You pass that, and then you get licensed in whatever states you want to get licensed in. You will have to get connected to a company or a broker or a lender to get licensed. But after you get those steps done, yeah, you're a loan officer. You don't have to go to college and, get a degree for that.
Okay. And so the test consists of what, trigonometry or something like that, or
There is some math, but speaking honestly,
okay.
I'm be honest.
Mm,
I hardly studied for that test. And I got I like right at where I needed to be to pass it. And what I think saved me is a lot of the stuff on that test. If you've ever bought and sold a home, a lot of the things on there to me, if you know the process that you walk through to buy or sell your home, that test is not that difficult. That's my opinion. There is some math, but it's not hard, in my opinion. A lot of the questions just really are around regulation, process. What do you do in the event of, a consumer or borrower wanting you to do X? What do you do in this case, like scenario-based questions? So, I mean, I would definitely say study, obviously, but if you have some background buying and selling real estate, to me that helped me the most because I could visualize what these questions were asking me because I've actually had to do it. So
So Jamie, were the questions, the answers to the questions, were they like close, or it was just like obvious, this is the answer?
some of the questions to me it was obvious. Some of the other ones, yeah, were definitely close. And that's where I would say, studying and know that the 20 hours of pre-licensing education that you do, it's supposed to be setting you up for the exam. So they cover all the various different modules, concepts, topics that are going to be on the exam, and you have to complete those 20 hours. So, you get something from the 20 hours, technically you really should be prepared. And then if you on top of that do some study prep, you know, I think it
Okay.
was pretty easy a bit for me.
Okay. And so was it all online? I'm sure that the actual test you had to go into a testing site,
Mhm.
right? But
Yeah.
was the course all online?
Yeah, for me, I went now some people I know don't do online well, right? They online training courses, that's not for them. There are options for you to do in person. They cost more. For me, I was okay with the online, so yeah, I did online.
Hmm. Okay. And so was there like a time limit on when you had to have these 20 hours in?
I do believe there is, but I can't remember honestly the specific time frame, but I do think it's not like you have to get them done in like 2 weeks. They give you a good amount of time to get your licensing, your pre-licensing education done. They give you a good amount of time after you've completed the pre-licensing to actually schedule and take the test. I think probably months. So it's not like as soon as you have to quickly do the training, quickly take the test. No, they give you time to get both done.
Okay. And like I said, I have been looking in different Facebook groups, and I hear a lot of horror stories of people who don't pass this on the first time.
Hmm.
How many times can you take it before, they say, no, you got to do the 20 hours again?
Well, the 20 hours, you don't have to redo that. I think you probably would have to fail the test a couple of times before they make you retake the 20 hours. If you don't pass it the first time, I think you have to wait like 2 months or so. Then you can try to retake it again. I think all in all, they might give you maybe three chances to take it before they try to do anything around redoing the pre-licensing education. So you have some time to retake it. I mean, to me, like I said, if I could impart any sort of advice to people, not saying go out and buy and sell a home just to take a test, but if you have folks in your life who've bought and sold homes, try to get a sense of what that process was like, what things had to happen when, right? So when you're purchasing a home, you have to get a loan estimate within 3 days, right? These are just things that if you've bought and sold homes, but there are also things that are regulated that me as a loan officer, I have to know. And so that it's on the test. So that would be my biggest advice, kind of get some practical experience in buying and selling homes or talking to some folks that have done that.
And so it just amazes me that a lot of mobile home investors don't know when they're creating these notes, they're not really supposed to, right? They're supposed to be hiring somebody like you. Am I correct?
So technically speaking, the government does allow folks, if you essentially are going to do owner financing, and you're going to do that, let's say for no more than 3 homes in a given calendar year, technically speaking, you can do that without an MLO, but legally speaking, as far as what, for instance, if you create a note, that note really should be created by an attorney, right? Somebody should be creating a note that can meet legal muster. You don't necessarily have to have an MLO originate that loan if that you're just doing one a year, but if you're going to put a note together, you should have an attorney put the note together just for it to pass legal muster. You don't necessarily need me to originate it, but you probably do want that to make it a valid note, legally speaking.
Right. And so what if, you create a note and then your tenant figures out that you have overcharged them interest?
Mhm.
What can happen then?
So if you've overcharged them interest, that's a legal issue, right? So one thing I will say, um, there is a difference between like federal and then state law around how notes are structured, who needs to be on a note as far as originating it, for instance. Um, if you're going to try to do owner financing without an MLO, especially if you're in that bracket, like I said, you're not going to do more than 3 outside of an MLO, I would say legally you should consult an attorney, a real estate attorney, somebody that is going to give you the type of oversight that's necessary to make sure you're in legal compliance. Again, outside of just the requirement of having an MLO originate your loan. Because me as an MLO originating your loan, I'm going to make sure that they have the ability to pay. I'm going to make sure, like you said, that you're not overcharging on interest if that's against a particular law in your state. I'm going to do those things for you for a fee, obviously, but it's not necessarily required for me to do that for you if you're within that window of being able to do 3 without an MLO. But the recommendation is to still have somebody else other than you make sure your note is legal, if you're not going to use an MLO. Now, if you're doing multiple ones a year, you need an MLO, and more than likely you'll need an attorney too.
Okay. All right. And to keep your license current,
Mhm.
is it every 2 years? And is there a fee? Is there something that you have to do to keep it current?
So every year I have to do continuing education. Um, and it's about, I did it last year. I want to say it's 4 or 5 hours. I want to say about 4 hours or so, continuing education. And that also will depend on the states where you're licensed as well, how much or how many hours you might have to do of continuing education. But basically speaking, no matter what state you're licensed in, every year you're gonna more than likely have to do continuing education and renew your license along with that.
Mhm. Now, would you say being a mortgage loan originator is, there's not a lot of people in that profession? Because this is what was taught to us
Hmm.
when I was out in Texas. Yeah, they were like, it's not a lot of you guys, and and you can make a whole lot of money and all this good stuff. Is that not true or what?
It's particularly in the mobile home space, right? There
Well,
is not,
well,
or
period.
just, oh,
Period.
oh, well,
No, I take that back. The mobile home space. Yeah, the mobile
okay,
home space. Uh-huh.
okay, yeah, because I was gonna say the mobile home space is, I mean, it's niche just in terms of the investing part of it. It's very niche, on the financing part of it. there is hardly anybody doing it independently. You have your 21st mortgage, you have your Vanderbilt, you have your larger lenders who folks can, you know, potentially contact and try to get their application submitted, get their loan pre-approved, but they don't provide like the support that I provide my clients when they contact me. They don't provide the education that I provide my clients when they contact me. They really almost don't even act like they care about your loan actually closing, right? So while we have these larger lenders out here that all they do are mobile home loans, there really are hardly few and far between folks like myself. I work for a broker who have access to multiple lenders and who are really incentivized and committed to making sure your loan closes. Like I will do all that I can to make sure anybody that comes to me can get their loan and get the loan closed. You contact 21st directly, you know, they
Right.
don't really care to a certain extent. So I agree. There aren't a lot of people just in general who specialize in mobile home financing.
Right.
Hardly any.
And it's funny you should bring up the 21st. I actually had a lady that was like on the verge of physically hurting herself playing games with 21st. And
Wow.
what happened is she didn't like the mobile home we had to offer. It was an older model mobile home. So she was trying to get this newer model mobile home. And it took them way over 6 months. And she called me crying, "Is your mobile home still available?" Well, no, it's gone. And I don't want nobody who don't want to live in my home.
Mhm.
Passed it up. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And I'm like, "Is
Mhm.
your husband home? Can you get him on the phone?" Because she was really in tears.
Bring it in.
Thought she was gonna hurt herself. I
I've
really,
heard that from a lot of people, where actually I've heard two things most commonly. Either they've gone the traditional route, so they've called up, Rocket Mortgage or whoever, thinking that they can get a loan that way. Rocket Mortgage doesn't say, "Oh, we don't do mobile homes." They'll take them through the whole process, take their application, run their credit, blah 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 blah, have them go and get an inspection, and then they get to the point like, "Wait, this home is in a park? Oh yeah, no, we don't do those." And
that's
these
horrible.
people, right, and these people have spent money, time that you've now wasted because you didn't just tell them up front or even ask the question, is this a home in a park? I don't even think that's something that they're even trained to do. They just take applications and just assume that if somebody's contacting them, they're contacting them about real estate, not mobile homes in a park. So I've had people tell me that. And then the second thing that I've had folks tell me, they've called a 21st or a Vanderbilt, and yeah, there's no support. They hardly can get in contact with their loan originator. If they do, they don't understand the answers that they're being given, or they're being told to do X, Y, and Z, and they don't understand why. Nobody explains it. So these are the stories that I hear, and I'm like, that's where somebody like me comes in, because again, I am committed. You come to me, I want to make sure you understand what you are signing up for. When
Mhm.
you take out a loan on a mobile home in a park, what are you signing up for? What is this loan? It's a chattel mortgage. What is a chattel mortgage? Why do you have to get a chattel mortgage versus traditional FHA conventional? Like, these are the conversations that I'll have with people. And then I'll also make sure, bar none, we're gonna do whatever we can do to get your loan to close. So that to me that's a difference. And like I said, there is hardly anybody out here doing that.
So, Jamie, can you expand on a little bit about the chattel mortgage? What exactly a chattel mortgage is, and does it apply in the park as well as on land?
Yeah, so what I explain to my clients is that if you're looking at a mobile home in a park, that means that home is on leased land. That's why you pay lot rent. Because that home is on leased land, though, it's not considered, nor is it treated as real estate. It's treated as personal property. And the types of mortgages specific to homes that are treated as personal property on leased land are chattel mortgages. So that's kind of how I explain it. Traditional financing, FHA conventional, largely those programs are for real estate. So it could be a mobile home on land, but it has to be affixed. It can't have a mobile home title. It actually has to be surrendered. So those can be funded through FHA, USDA conventional, but they have to be affixed to the land and they have to have a deed. They have to be considered real estate. If they're not, even if it's a mobile home that's just sitting on land, it's sitting on its piers, it's not affixed, it still has its title, that's still a chattel mortgage, right? If you wanted to purchase that home and move it someplace else, you could do that and it would be a chattel mortgage because it's not considered real estate.
Okay. And so if a mobile home on land is not affixed to the land, and no, it is affixed to the land,
Mm.
and you've had it detitled, now you have a deed, are you able to pull the equity off of that
Mm.
home?
Yeah, potentially. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
potentially. Now, you not saying every single lender has an option for that, but there are definitely some lenders out there that can make that happen. And again, the company that I work for right now is a broker, so I would have access to a lot of different options, not just one. So that's that's a difference between somebody just going directly to, like I said, just Rocket Mortgage, or I don't know, I shouldn't say Rocket, maybe like a bank lender who may only have access to 1 to 2 programs versus if you go to a broker who has a larger set of options that they can pull from to try to get your deal done. So not everybody will do it, but definitely there are lenders out there that will do that type of loan.
And then mobile homes are, on land, and they affix it to the land, and it no longer has a title, it has a deed.
Mhm.
So it's like once they affix it to the land, it's not like, okay, they do that on a Monday and then they can go and pull the equity out of the home on Tuesday. That not the
Mhm.
case?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, that's going to be a process. So if you, for instance, like I've seen it in some instances, you purchase land and maybe the home was not already affixed. I had a situation there. A lady purchased the land, the mobile home was just sitting on piers, the title had never been surrendered. So that home is not considered real estate. It's literally considered like, a car sitting on the land. If she decided to affix it to the land, she would have to go through the proper process in Michigan. That's filing what's called an affidavit of a fixture, actually physically surrendering the mobile home title and getting a deed drawn up. That's a process. So it's definitely not something that will, take place in a day or so, especially depending on where you are. I know in my state, a lot of that stuff takes time.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Okay. And when a mobile home, like you said, is just sitting on the piers, and all of a sudden you affix it to the land, you're going to be paying two different type of taxes, correct?
Yeah. So when you affix the mobile home to the land, at that point is real estate. At that point, we're talking about property taxes. And again, depending on, where you are, what state you are, I know in Michigan, when it comes to taxes on a mobile home in a park, we don't have taxes. We have well, it's called a school tax, but it's only like $3 and it's rolled into your lot rent. So if we're talking about a mobile home in a park, you really are looking at $3 that's rolled into your lot rent. Once you get a mobile home and fix it to land, surrender the title, it's real estate. And depending on where you are in Michigan, that could be a significant difference, $3 versus 1,500, 2,000, whatever. The tax rate might be in your area, but yeah.
Okay. So Jamie, you went to the schooling, you passed the examination, you
Mhm.
got your license. How did you go about finding work? Because you were saying you had to go through a broker, so you have to still work under somebody.
You do, yeah. So, you're not going to be able to be licensed unless you have a sponsor company. Now, if you're able to create your own company that can be a licensed lender, a licensed broker, then that company can sponsor your license. But you would have to meet whatever the requirements are in your particular state, and those vary to get your actual company licensed as a broker or a lender. Once they are, then that company can sponsor your license. If you're not able to do that, for instance, for some states, the requirement is you work in this industry for 2 years plus. If you don't have that, you're not going to get a company. You're not going to be able to create a company that will be licensed. So in my sense, I'm not there yet in terms of time in the industry, in terms of experience in the industry. So I was looking for a way to be licensed, focus on what I feel is my niche and my specialty, and not have to have that time in. And for me, I don't know of any other company beyond Nexa who will take on pretty much brand new loan officers, and just kind of let you do your thing to a certain extent, underneath their company license. Now, a place like Nexa, if there are other options outside of Nexa, the expectation is that we're sponsoring your license, but everything else for the most part is going to be on you. So through Nexa, I pay a little bit of money to get tech support, have access to their platforms to get my deals done, but my leads, I'm nurturing those. I'm finding those. Pretty much everything I do in regards to my mobile home loan business is all on me. So you go through a place like Next, the expectation is that okay, you're brand new. Maybe we can get you connected to some mentoring, some training, because Nexa does offer that. That is an option, but largely and ultimately it's going to be on you to nurture relationships, to get leads, to close loans. And so thankfully the fact that I have been in the mobile home space for, 2 years plus, I have made connections. I understand kind of where I fit in terms of providing help, service. That's helped me to get to the point where I feel like at this point, I'm thinking future. What can I do on my own to nurture what I feel could be a pretty good business and mobile home financing? So,
Okay, interesting, very interesting.
mm.
So when we're talking about mobile homes and trying to get a loan, what is the oldest model mobile home somebody can get a loan? It can't be pre-HUD, I'm sure.
For the most part, no. For the lenders that I work with, it has to be at least 1976. Now, um, it's possible that you might find a lender out there, a chattel lender, who will go pre-HUD. I know, I think at least 21st advertises that they may go pre-HUD depending on, what the deal is. I don't know, practically speaking, if they will. But for the most part, yeah, I can't do anything if the home is older than 1976.
Hmm. So that person more or less would have to have cash, in other words.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or
Yeah.
do owner financing.
Well, they would have to do owner financing with, like
Do them
somebody
just
like me
like,
and my brother. Yeah. Oh, you.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I just wanted to get some clarity on that because
Mm.
people think they could just, get a loan on any, year mobile home. And I don't think that is true, even though I'm not in the same situation that you're in.
Mm-mm.
So, do you want to share with us what school you went to? Because I told you I had looked up Affinity and
Oh,
in the young, are you familiar with that?
I looked it up when you made the message. I was like, oh, I ain't never heard of them before. So I did look it up, but
Yeah.
that's not who I went through. I went through mortgage educators.
Okay. And how much does that course set you back? And you said there's roughly about how many weeks would it be?
So now I'm just gonna say this. I have a very bad memory, Kelly. So
That's
just
okay.
in general. So
That's
I
okay.
like so I have to be
You
like,
you
I
in
think
you
it
in good
was
company because my memory bad too. Go.
okay. So I really like I think I paid I want to say I don't think it was no anywhere close to like 1,000 or something because I feel like I've been like, ooh, that's excessive. I feel like for the 20 hours of pre-licensing, I don't think it was more than like $400 or $500 for that, maybe a little bit more, but definitely under 1,000. To finish that that took me, I'm not gonna lie, that took me a while. Um Probably 2 or 3 months. And like I said, they give you time to both complete the education and they give you time to get the test scheduled and complete it. So I want to say it took me at least 2 or 3 months, I want to say, to get through the national core 20 hours of pre-licensing. Plus, I then did additional Michigan and Florida because those were the two states that I was trying to get licensed in. So I did additional, like, I think an additional 4 to 8 hours per state for that, just for the licensing part. So that took me a little bit of time, but I was also kind of like, I think I was still working full time. So I was working full time, doing the mobile home investing thing, and then trying to do this too. So that's a part of why it took me longer.
Wow. Yeah. Like I said, when I seen you post that you had passed, I'm like, man, I was just thinking about doing that, but I tell you what, because I know nothing about single family homes. The success we've had with single family homes has only been by accident. I tell anybody
Oh,
that. It,
really?
yeah, we own two single family homes and it was by, accident. I tell everybody that.
Okay.
We had more success with mobile homes. I know a lot about mobile homes, single family homes. I couldn't, tell you the first thing, I know how much that rent is when it come in with that single family home. But other than that, I don't know too much more. But anyway, like I said, thank you for coming on here and thank you for sharing. Now, tell us the name of your company and tell us how somebody can get in contact, with you if you try
Okay.
a business or anything with them. Share your information.
So on the side of mobile home investing, my company is Simply Mobile Homes. You can reach us at least through our website for that, either simply M as in Mary H.com or or excuse me, .co, not .com, .co, or cash for mobile home. So CASH, the number four, mobilehomes.co. So those are the two sites that I have for the mobile home investing part. Um, I don't really have my social media set up quite yet on the financing part. I'm not big on social media. It's probably something I can learn from you, Kelly, because I need to get better with it.
Yeah.
But at least on the side of contacting me, those are probably the primary ways. And then just by email, you can reach me at jamie@simplymh.co.
Okay. And do you have any like final words of wisdom for somebody who might be looking into getting the mobile home business or the mortgage loan originator business?
I would say the biggest thing right now, and this is just coming from like where my head is at right now, don't limit yourself in terms of how far you could go in this business and the various different things that you could do in this business. Um, what might initially bring you in might be the investing part. Maybe you're like, oh, this is great. I could wholesale and make some little money here and there. But just know that there are a lot of different things that you could do in this industry. And the fact that it is so niche means that you literally might be one of zero or two other people doing what you might have an interest to do. So, like I said, my thought now is to think about the various different ways I can utilize my knowledge, my experience in mobile homes, but doing some things that might be a better fit just for me, personally, skill set, experience, but still knowing and understanding that this is niche and I'm coming in with a good amount of experience and knowledge that other folks don't have. So even if there might be other people originating mobile home loans, 9 times out of 10, they probably don't have my background. And that's an advantage. So I would say kind of think about other ways that you might be able to make money in this business because the investing only portion of it, that's one part, but you might have several different options.
Okay. And Jamie, I know this is going to be a question everybody, is going to want to know, including myself.
Mhm.
How much could somebody make in the business on a yearly basis? Because you also get paid like a commission, correct? You get paid a commission?
Yeah, on the mobile home loan side of
Yes.
things.
Hmm.
Okay, so you put me out, Kelly.
Hey,
Because
I might need a loan. I might have to call you back after we get off with you.
this is where my head is at now. Um, if you're able to keep the full amount of your commission on a mobile home loan and you're doing a significant amount of volume or business, I mean, it could be in the six figures. Now, take out of that, if you're working for a broker, they're going to have their own fees that is going to come out of your commission, right? So that's going to come out. Maybe you might have some different tools that you use. Obviously, that comes out. But if you're able, and like I said, this is where my head is at. If you're able to get to a point where you have your own business, yeah, and you're keeping your full commission off of every file, it could easily be, yeah, in the six figures.
Amazing, amazing.
Mhm.
Okay, this is the last question. So, where do you foresee yourself being 5 years from now, down the road in the if either the mortgage loan originator business, mobile home business, where do you
Yeah.
see yourself?
Um, in 5 years, Kelly, I will be maybe either the only or one of the only mobile home loan brokers, at least in the Midwest. That's my focus. I really want to be the biggest mobile home loan broker in Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio. Like that's what I want to do. And then I want to also have the ability to write insurance policies on mobile homes, have that connected to my brokerage as well. But in 5 years, that's where I plan to be. Billboards, mobile home, loan
I can see it.
broker. Like,
I can
yeah,
see
that's
it.
what I want to do.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, there we have it. Miss Jamie Jackson out of Michigan. She
Mhm.
gave you her contact information, guys. If you want to reach out to her, you can go ahead and reach out to her. The phone number is right there. And thank you so much, Jamie, for coming on here. I
No
greatly appreciate
problem.
it.